Coming up tonight at 10, we have new numbers from CBP on the record-breaking surge of migrants. As you can see over my shoulder here on Paisano, just south of Executive in West El Paso, another group turning themselves in. More than 2 dozen is about what I counted here, including some children, of course. One Border Patrol agent vehicle here, as well as some Sunland Park PD, El Paso Fire, and an ambulance, because we did see one migrant go into the ambulance. And now, as you can see right behind me, more are arriving here. Just behind me right now. Here's another large group that's actually coming right now, just behind me over my shoulder. I will give you a look here. This is probably at least another dozen or so that are now heading this way. Photographer Todd Tony is getting some video right now, as you can see over our shoulder, of this group of migrants turning themselves in. Here are a few more coming this way now. Several small children coming over my shoulder this way. This is rather large now. There you can see the kids there, and now they're getting some commands in Spanish from, can't tell if that's Border Patrol or someone else, but they're all on this other side of the road. There's a median here on Paisano. So now what is only one Border Patrol agent here plus a couple of police officers is now having to deal with the group that's already sitting down on the other side of the train tracks that has just turned themselves in addition to this group that I have to imagine was at least two more dozen, maybe more than that, that's now making their way, continuing their way up Paisano. And I'm not sure where they're going, because it looks like they aren't listening, at least just yet, to what the law enforcement is saying to them right now. So they're still walking up that way, and there's only one Border Patrol agent here right now. So I'm not sure. This is part of the issue that we've been seeing too, is the fact that Border Patrol agents say that they're understaffed, undermanned, and as of right now, we still only have one Border Patrol vehicle here. That's right there behind me, that it's now relocating up towards that group. But as you can see, it's a little difficult to see, obviously being at night, but just over my shoulder, there's a group of the original group of about 2 dozen migrants on the other side of the tracks right there. So they were having to deal with that. But now, this other Border Patrol agent is making his way up the road. And this group is still making its way, so I'm not sure how much longer it's going to take to get more people, more agents this way. It looks like there might be a second agent that just made their way here. But remember, this ambulance here also has a migrant inside it that was brought onto the stretcher and brought in there. So you've got that they're dealing with. In addition to the police officers just kind of hanging out here on the train tracks, keeping an eye on this group, which has just been sitting there quietly. We haven't seen any sort of commotion or anything. John is helping me out with the light here, so thank you, John. But that group has continued to walk, and now you can see just off in the distance there, the flashing lights there. So now that looks like that might be that original Border Patrol agent that was here, that was trying to stop that group, because that group just kept walking. It walked right past us. Maybe 2-3 dozen people, adults plus children, some small children, and they just kept walking. There were some commands on the bullhorn in Spanish from, I couldn't tell if that was from police or if it was from the Border Patrol agent, but they pretty much disregarded it and kept walking up towards Sunland Park. I hear a couple more sirens now, so I'm not sure if this Border Patrol agent was able to get this group to come to a complete stop here and get all of them. When we were out here last week, there was a group of about, I think it was 19 last week, and they had said that a couple of them tried to make a run for it, and up across the train tracks when we were leaving, we saw Border Patrol agents scanning the train tracks. That group was stopped by El Paso police initially, and it was Border Patrol that then responded to the call. And there were several agents, so that was pretty well handled in terms of manpower. This one, not so much, because I'm still only seeing, I think, one Border Patrol vehicle. They have, that vehicle has stopped here. It's hard to see. But I can't, John, can you see where the group is? Are they crossed over?
It looks like there might be some on the left, but it's hard to tell from this vantage.
Yeah, it is. It's dark out here. I mean, that's the other thing. There are a couple street lights. All right, so now we've got, that looks like it's actually El Paso Police. So we have an El Paso Police vehicle now. Turn this over. Let me see if I can, does this turn around? No.
They're on the left up down the curb, you see them?
Okay. So we're still only talking about one Border Patrol vehicle though that's made its way down here. Which, John, how long have we been here? 10, 15 minutes?
10 minutes, yeah.
And when we drove down here, actually, the fire truck was just getting to the scene. It actually had to pass us in order to get here, so we pretty much arrived at the same time. And that's been at least 10, 15 minutes, and it's still just the one Border Patrol vehicle that has arrived. So that just goes to show, I mean, we don't necessarily know exactly at this moment what else is going on in other parts of the border right now. So they could very well be dealing with another situation elsewhere, but that's what we've been talking about, is these Border Patrol agents needing
on the ground,
needing help. Okay, so John is telling me that this group has now come to a stop and they are all sitting, which is what we've become accustomed to. When these groups actually do stop and turn themselves in, they'll take a seat and then wait to eventually be picked up by Border Patrol, where eventually they'll be processed. But that is something that, you know, you're talking several hours down the road, given the size of these groups and the amount of migrants that are coming in on a daily basis. Again, the whole point of this was we were teasing the new numbers from CBP. In 7 months alone of this fiscal year, we've already surpassed every fiscal year going back to 2009 in terms of migrants turning themselves in at the southwest border. And that's just in 7 months. So 5 more months to go, and the last 2 months have been over 100,000, and you can add probably close to 100 when you combine these two groups, anywhere I'd say between 50 and 100 more. So we do have this El Paso police car here, pickup truck. Sorry, John. And I think this is the one Border Patrol vehicle, but yeah, this group is all just sitting here now along the fence line, and still just the one Border Patrol vehicle that has responded to the scene. So I'm not sure how much longer it's going to take. This video was certainly longer than I expected it to be, but we kind of just kept going with the action and what was going on. So again, this is nothing new per se. This is pretty much every single night, but we can continue to report on it. Yeah, I mean, this group has small children, just like every other group. One of the Border Patrol, I believe, chiefs today testified to Congress, saying that now close to 50% of the migrants that turn themselves in are accompanied by a child. And that's something that they had never seen before, because they're, according to Border Patrol, obviously taking advantage of the system that's in place right now, which means they know if they come with a child, they will not be deported and detained. They will be released eventually and be able to go to a sponsor. So we still have the one El Paso police pickup truck here, and the Border Patrol agent just drove down that way, so I'm not sure what the Border Patrol agent is doing now. We haven't seen any other crews respond since then, so again, our photographer Todd Tony is over there getting some video, and that's on the Facebook Live there. That's actually Jim Benby, who is with what used to be the United Constitutional Patriots group. He's still been on the border pretty much every single day and trying to document this. So he's here as well. And we're going to bring you the latest here at 10 o'clock, and we'll talk about some of those numbers. But just wanted to give you kind of a look in again to what we see on a regular basis. So we'll see you tonight for ABC 7 at 10.